You're watching episode 90 of Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV. And now, here's two guys that will celebrate New Year's Eve with an extra large bottle of cheap champagne and an even larger bag of Covered Bridge potato chips, Evan and Joe.
I'm Joe Ticotsky down in New Haven, Connecticut.
Evan McFarlane here in St. Andrews, New Brunswick.
You're watching episode 90 of Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV, our last episode of 2025. Before we get rolling, I want to remind everyone to support our two sponsors, the Oat Company of St. John's, Newfoundland, and Covered Bridge Chips from Woodstock, New Brunswick. And you can see their websites right there on the screen if you'd like to order online. Or if you'd rather buy in person, you can purchase their products from any of a plethora of stores throughout Canada that carry their fine products.
What do you do, Joe? Eat everything?
I did. There's nothing left in the cupboard. All right, on to some catch-up stuff we have. We'd like to congratulate Amelia Welch, who is now Amelia Munn. She used to announce the openings for our show back in the early days before Mark came on board. And actually, when she was in high school, used to do some stuff for CHCO-TV. And she was with us before she realized that being connected with our show would do nothing but hurt any potential future employment opportunities. Amelia had her first baby back on November 24th, a gorgeous baby girl named Margot Diana Ruby Munn. She and her husband, Josh, are both embracing parenthood as the official baby of Mc&T Sports Report.
Keeping Grandpa Dave all busy.
There we go. We would send the baby a CHCO t-shirt or hat, but to be honest, folks, neither Evan or myself have yet to receive a CHCO t-shirt or hat. I'm looking at you, Patrick Watt. Get the ball rolling here, please. Got to promote. On the sports front, last month was the 112th Grey Cup, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders with an 8-point win over the Montreal Alouettes to capture the CFL title. And a former guest of ours in the show, Keon Julian Grant, we're doing some catch-up here. He now plays for the Edmonton Elks in the CFL. And Evan, this past season, he finished with 57 receptions for over 800 yards and 7 touchdowns, good for 6th in the league. So the show Magic Dust worked again.
I mean, everyone said that we're career enders, but I think things are just getting better for him since coming on here.
Yeah, that is impressive coming from small college there.
Yeah.
Onto the basketball front, a quick shout out to my friends from the RNS girls team who came down to Connecticut once again to play in a tournament and were able to catch a UConn game at Mohegan Sun Arena, that women's crazy game against Michigan. And while they were at the game, they were able to meet UConn men's starting center, Terrace Reed Jr. And of course, before they left, they had to be fair to both casinos, so they dropped some of their American dollars at the outlets at Foxwoods Casino. And outlets is not a secret term for slot machines. We kept them away for that. We got to get you down here, Evan.
I know. Keep me away from the outlets.
Yeah. And speaking of champions, congratulations to the guy on the right side of the screen as his Sir James Dunn Academy boys basketball team won their annual Basketball by the Sea tournament, defeating the dreaded rivals from neighboring St. Stephen in the finals. Nice job.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, and it was an exciting game, and it's just nice to see the Charlotte County rivalry back intact again, not just because we can play with each other, but both teams are really strong this year. And also, not just us, but our girls team's putting in some work, and they're doing some really great things right now, too. And they also just won their tournament down here this past weekend after a bit of a hiatus of not hosting one. So congrats to them. They are playing extremely well right now.
Yeah, that was renamed the Hoops and Tides tournament, I believe, and they won. Also, rumor has it that you guys beat Harvey High School. Yeah, come on, take ownership.
They played well. We don't want to get
any,
obviously. I mean, Harvey's a great team, but I think it just it just cements the fact that we've got some good stuff going on right now, and our guys are working really, really hard, and we're excited to keep things moving.
Yeah, no, it definitely always helps to make a rivalry when both teams, have a shot at it. And for any viewers out there, have you still figured out the last time St. Andrews team has beaten Harvey and boys?
And it's been a while. We don't look too much into the past, Joe. We're just looking about going forward here. But I think it's definitely been longer than I've been gracing this earth with my feet.
But like I said, it's just great to have a good local rivalry like that. So good stuff, and keep it rolling.
Thank you.
Coming up after the break, we'll interview a husband and wife basketball coaching duo that led Team Nunavut in their first ever appearance in this summer's Canada Games. You're watching Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV in St. Andrews. Welcome back to Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV. Back in August, the Canada Games were held in St. John's, Newfoundland. During the 17-day event, over 4,000 youth athletes from throughout Canada competed in 17 different sports, from cycling to lacrosse to wrestling and, of course, basketball. Nunavut is the largest and northernmost territory in Canada. Despite having a population of just over 35,000, for the first time ever, they sent boys and girls basketball teams to the Canada Games. And to tell us about this memorable experience, we have the boys and girls basketball coaches of Team Nunavut, Will and Ashley Donkoh. Will and Ashley, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
I will. So you were born in Montreal, and Ashley, you're from Toronto.
Mhm.
How did you two meet, and then how did you end up coaching basketball in Nunavut?
Well, we both went to St. Francis Xavier University together, both played on the basketball team there. And I guess that's where our friendship blossomed.
So, how does it go from there to Nunavut? Connect the dots for me.
A funny thing is, we were trying to go overseas after we graduated to teach, but then COVID hit. And one of our professors, she actually taught in Nunavut and she was promoting it in class. And we're like, oh, let's just give it a try. Let's just go up and see how we like it. And we both ended up getting jobs at the same school. So we said we were only going to go for a year. And
Famous last words.
Yeah, exactly. And then we ended up staying for 5. So right away, our superintendent, he was also connected with basketball. So when he found out that we were basketball lovers, he's like, okay, we got to get you on the board. We got to get you doing some coaching. And we coached our school team. And then from there, he recruited us to.
Yeah. But that was kind of the story of Nunavut.
Nice.
Mhm.
All right, Evan.
Awesome. So when did you hold tryouts for Team Nunavut, and how many practices are you able to hold before you headed to Newfoundland for the Canada Games?
Yeah, so it's a very unique environment, right? There's 25 communities, but you can't drive. It's all fly-in, right?
Okay.
So to host practices or tryouts, it's very different than even, let's say, Yukon or Northwest Territories, which are still in the north, but they have roads, they have that infrastructure to get players or athletes from one location to the next. So what we had to do is we had three options. So the first one was video submission. So the athletes in their respective communities would take videos of themselves doing drills that Ash and I would coordinate and just send out to their coaches. The second round would be territorials,
Right.
right? The difficulty about territorials is they are always going to be cancellations in flights. There you can book it. So you can have situations where 11 teams commit, but only 4 might show up because because there's a blizzard or wind or
Fog,
anything
you
that
name it.
the plane doesn't run. So the video selection gives us a good base. Then when we get to see the athletes, it's that gives us the second round.
Mm-hmm.
And just in case we missed, we there's something we missed. And then the third round of that was we took a pool of about 15 to 20 to not Newfoundland.
To Iqaluit.
No.
Well,
To
before that.
Yellowknife.
Okay.
Yeah. So we went to Yellowknife because Iqaluit was the territorials. Then we went to Yellowknife for training camp. Through that process, that's where we made the team.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got our 12. Then we flew to Ottawa.
We had a 10-day training camp.
Yes.
And
He's an ex-alum. His name is
Yeah.
Eric Palmer. He owns this gym called Capitol Courts, and he hosted us. It was a great environment, great situation. A lot of elite athletes from Ottawa come through his court. So
even outside of Ottawa
even
too,
outside of Ottawa. So because he has a lot of national, especially national women's team members on his team, and then a lot of pros on the men's side. So not only did they get training camp for 10 days, not only did they get games, but they were able to connect and speak to players.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, you had a tryout with Oklahoma City. Wow, you played for Team Canada. Wow, you play in France. So, and then,
And it was hard to get across the level that we were going to play against because they're so used to just playing against themselves, or even in the Arctic Winter Games, only like northern communities would play. So for them to experience playing Nova Scotia or Ontario, they didn't really understand what it was going to be like.
Sure.
So it was nice to have.
All right. So now at Nunavut, connected with that, do all the high schools have varsity teams in the winter?
No, they don't all have teams because it's either you need a coach to coach it. If there's no one to coach, they're not going to do it. And like, I feel like they go through waves of what sports they're interested in.
Yeah.
And so if most of the community is not interested in the specific sport, they're not going to play it. Like Will had a couple boys on his team. They've never played on a team. They never had a coach, but they had like gym time that they would go and practice and watch videos.
Okay. Now,
Wow.
all right. Now, moving on to the games themselves, how much does it cost to get teams to the Canada? I mean, it's not like Newfoundland and Nunavut are neighbors.
Yeah. So that's a good segue because it kind of goes back with the question that you asked before. Like at the high school that we worked at, our budget to send teams to their tournaments, and there was probably like 5 or 6 tournaments, was $68,000.
Yeah,
so
that we had to fundraise for our school.
So that's why when you talk about a lot of these communities, especially the smaller communities, our community was the second largest community that has a lot of community involvement. There's a lot of communities with 400 people, and maybe poverty is high, maybe participation is low, and it's like we cannot come up with 68 grand, and which then deters people from actually creating a team. But as for the games themselves, we have a Nunavut Basketball Association, so it's and NUBA, NUBA, the Nunavut Basketball Association, and it's a board of directors, board of governors. It's just a way to fundraise and plan for these events. So a lot of our money was government grants. Like a significant amount was grants. Some of it was.
So training camp alone too was almost 100 grand.
Yeah, but these are all. But the question.
But
is,
how much did it cost?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously some obstacles. Ev, what do you got?
I mean, but what you're doing though is you're offering an experience to these guys, these children that certainly wouldn't otherwise have the chance. And I think that's what Canada Games embraces the most is it's an amateur youth athlete tournament at its finest where you feel like a pro. So to you, what do you think the best parts of the Canada Games experience were for you and for your kids? Like, what are you going to remember for your days?
Well, for us, it was the first time Team Nunavut has gone to Canada Games, and they were the first team to do it. So the pride of being that catalyst team to start everything It was so good. They were the experience they gained just from meeting other people, seeing the level, the talent. They were so excited about. And even though we lost the games by points, we were the winners in every game. You know, we worked, we did the things that we could control, and we celebrated. Everybody was positive, always uplifting, and the only reason they cried at the end was because it was over.
Right.
Yeah,
Um,
awesome.
I,
Yeah.
th- and the like the girls team definitely had a they had a smoother transition into like why we're at the games. My team was a little
Mm.
bit different. They and you can't fault them for this, but they felt like no, we can compete. We should be able to compete. Yeah, we're playing against Nova Scotia. I think we can win. And you never want to take that away from someone, right? You want to always make sure, like we talk about staying even keel, right? Um, Being confident to the point of even arrogance in what you do, but understanding, wow, there's a hurdle or there's a danger that this team can present that we have to be prepared for. So stay middle, don't get too high, don't get too low, but make sure you are set. So that was one of my biggest messages. Like, listen, you are going to see talent that you've never seen in a collective before. Just do the things that you can do. And initially it was hard for them. It was hard to play Nova Scotia, who has probably what two or three D1 athletes for sure. One of the kids is the starting guard for the junior national team, and then you have across the board guys who are going to go play Canadian university or college,
Mhm.
and to see that up close was very shell shocking for them. And when they were able, by the end of the tournament, when they were able to see themselves put a game where they controlled all the controllables together, yeah, we lost to the last game was Saskatchewan. We lost to Saskatchewan by we were up at the first quarter.
Mm.
It was 2 points at half, and then it got away from them. It was probably like 25. But they were like, this look, we can. If we had
Mhm.
more, we can. And it gave them the optimism, it gave them the hope. So that would be for me on our side, that would be the best side to just know that, listen, yeah, we rode the wave and we were able to see that through consistency and through work you can, but it's
Mhm.
going to take a lot of time. It's
PI, right?
my fault. I said
Yeah.
Saskatchewan. It's a PI. It was
Mm.
PI the last game.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I mean, those experiences, that's way beyond the sport. I think what they're learning there is basketball is your way to do it, but those
Right.
are qualities that they take in whatever they decide to do from here.
Yeah.
Amazing experiences there. Well, we've been chatting with Will and Ashley Donkoh. They're the boys and girls basketball coaches of Team Nunavut, which played basketball in the Canada Games. I got my Canada Games shirt out.
Very nice.
Shout out to Kurt Peacock for bringing that back to me.
What sport were you in, Joe?
I was running art camp actually at the time. So they were
Semi-professional coach sitting.
back in August in Newfoundland. They coached the teams of the Canada Games. Thanks so much to both of you for coming on the show and sharing your amazing experiences with our audience.
Yeah.
It was all our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thanks,
Mhm.
sir.
Well, coming up after the break, we will talk about taking a New Year's Day outdoor swim in Vancouver on Small Town Spotlight. You're watching Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV in St. Andrews. Welcome back to Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV. If your New Year's Day plans don't involve swimming outside in British Columbia, then you don't know what you're missing. The Polar Bear Swim started in 1920 and is held at English Bay Beach in downtown Vancouver. And to tell us more about the event, let's welcome in Tanya Donaldson, the team lead of aquatic services for the Vancouver Board of Parks and Recreation. Tanya, welcome to the show.
Hello.
I know on New Year's Day, I will personally not be going swimming, but in downtown Vancouver, they will be. How many people do you expect this year?
Well, so we had a record year last year, which was just over 13,000 registered. And then we get up to 10 or 12,000 people there just to watch the spectacle.
That's amazing. Now, of course, everyone's going to want to know, what are the water and air temperatures typically like, and what's the coldest it's ever been?
Typically, the air and water often end up being quite similar, between 6 and 8 degrees Celsius. Our coldest has been 3 degrees Celsius, and our warmest 9 degrees Celsius.
Okay. For our American audiences, including me, that 6 to 8 is about 43 to 47 degrees
Yes,
Fahrenheit.
yes,
Okay. Okay. Now, what are the rules? Do people just run in and run back out? How does it work?
they do. We do have a special 100-yard swim for folks who are real diehards. They get to swim out to a buoy and actually get a trophy at the end. Apart from that, the mass crowds go in at 2:30 when the swim starts and dip for as long as they can handle. Some just up to their ankles, some up to their shoulders, and some crazy enough to dunk their heads in.
Okay. Now, for those that aren't bold enough to go in the water, what other events take place throughout the day?
So we have events running from 12 until 4 throughout the day. We have live entertainment, lip syncing contest, costume contest, food vendors, and just lots of joy and excitement.
Okay. So now you mentioned before the costumes. A lot of people show up in costumes.
They absolutely do. It's always entertaining to see how creative people can be. And then we also have folks that have been coming to the swim for decades and show up wearing their badges of honor, their pins from every swim that they've participated in.
Okay. So now are they going in the water with the costume on?
Most people will go in the water with the costume on. Those that have their covered buttons will don those off and then enter the water.
Okay. Have you ever gone in?
I have not gone in. I'm too busy running the event.
Oh, come on, Tanya. That's an old excuse.
I will get in there one day, but right now, sometimes the logistics are just have to take priority.
Now, have you ever had to cancel the event?
Fortunately, we have not, except for COVID. We did get our 100th anniversary off in 2020, but in 2021, with the effects of still COVID, we reverted to a digital dip. We still had huge engagement, people sending us videos of what they managed to do on their own and get their commemorative buttons through that.
Okay. Now, for those not familiar with Vancouver, this beach is right in downtown.
Correct. English Bay, right at the foot of Davie and Denman.
Okay. And the people, like in the summertime, it's a big with
Big beach
sand
in
and
the
a
summer.
regular.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right adjacent to Stanley Park.
Okay. All right. Now, for those out of the area or on our show, we always ask our guest on this segment to sort of pump up the area and give us a local non-chain restaurant that they'd like to recommend. So give us your favorite in the 604. Give us a favorite restaurant out there.
So that's Patron Mexican Restaurant on Robson Street in Vancouver. And just to celebrate the last little bit of polar bear, I'll show you my favorite hat of the polar bear swim that I love
Okay.
to wear on the day.
I like it. I like it. It's good stuff. So the restaurant again is Patron Mexican.
Patron Mexican Restaurant on Robson Street.
Okay. I see they have quite a varied drink list. My co-host, who tends to indulge here and there, I'll pass along the list to him. But it sounds like a great way to start out the new year.
It is
Now,
fabulous.
people can just sign up that day. Is there online? How does it work?
There is online registration in advance, usually launches in early December, but people can still participate on the day even if they are not registered. But if they
Okay.
register, they get a commemorative certificate digitally.
That is some good. And do you get people from out of the area that are in for the new year?
We do. It's a really diverse crowd that comes. It's such a sense of community of local Vancouverites and those in the surrounding area. But it's amazing how many visitors to our city love to come and become part of this tradition.
That's great. Well, she is Tanya Donaldson, team lead of aquatic services for the Vancouver Board of Parks and Recreation, and one of our few guests that we kept the interview going long so she would keep a hat on the entire time. Great costume there. She'll be helping with the 2026 Polar Bear Swim in downtown Vancouver on New Year's Day. Tanya, thanks again so much for coming on the show and telling us about your great event.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back. That radio T-shirt, Joe. I know you're trying to work on us getting a radio station too, but what was that going on?
We're taking over the media landscape. Yeah, I just listened to it online. The station is CKJM in Cheticamp, Nova Scotia, out near Cape Breton Island, you said?
Yeah, it's up the Cabot Trail.
Okay. It's just pretty neat station, and they had a cheapo T-shirt, so I made sure to get it delivered in the summer while I was up in Canada. Avoid those crazy shipping costs down here. So that's that. Well, this is it. It's the end of the year, man. What do you got planned for New Year's Eve?
I'm not 100% sure. This is our year to go over to PEI for Christmas. But I won't say how old everybody's turning, but it's a big year for people my age, as it's probably got a 4 and a 0. And one of my buddies' birthday is on New Year's Day, so we're usually back for that ever since we've been 5. So.
Okay. Well, if you're going to be in PEI, let me know, and I'll just take over your house for New Year's Eve if it's going to be empty.
Help yourself. Throw a party.
There you go. We would like to thank, from the previous interview, Will and Ashley Donkoh from Team Nunavut, as well as to Tanya Donaldson of Vancouver for all coming on episode 90. Well, that's it for this time. As we close the books on 2025 here on Mc&T Sports Report, I'm Joe down in New Haven, Connecticut.
And here in St. Andrews, we'll see you in 2026.
Thanks to Patrick Watt and Florence Mitchell for doing a great job producing and editing a show that everyone will be falling asleep to on New Year's Eve. You can take that in a number of different ways.
The ball drop.
You're watching Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV in St. Andrews, and have a great 2026.